Right. Right. Welcome, one and all, to Littlejohn Listens Spotlight on HIV/AIDS. With me tonight is our very special guest, Minister Alicia Anderson, and she is going to be telling us her story and a little bit about her book. We are looking forward to listening, to learning, supporting, and of course, to being thoroughly entertained. Um, Minister, can I call you Minister, or do you prefer Minister Alicia, or do you prefer Minister Anderson? What do you prefer? Let's start there.
It doesn't matter. Minister is fine.
Okay, okay, all right. So, can you
Right.
kindly tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell us who you are, introduce yourself to those who are listening.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity. It is a pleasure, first and foremost. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
I am Alicia Anderson. Minister came on last year. So it's Minister Alicia Anderson. I am the director of Life the Rebirth. Life the Rebirth is about restoring faith, hope, and love to tainted lives through the sharing of the gospel of Jesus Christ and through my own personal testimony. So that's it in a nutshell. I'm the director of Life Through Birth. I am
Nice.
also an author of HIV, My Journey Through Grace, which this is the copy of my book, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm an author and I'm an ordained minister.
Wonderful,
Back to you.
wonderful. All right. We definitely look forward to hearing more about your book tonight. Okay. What I will ask you to do though, can you give us an overview of your upbringing? What was that like for you?
Okay. I was brought up in the Catholic Church. So every
Mm-hmm.
Sunday we're going to church. Sometimes I would
Mm-hmm.
include going on a Saturday. With
Mm-hmm.
that, for me growing up, it was church, it was home, it was frequent to the doctor's office, and it was going to school. As I
Mm-hmm.
said, I grew up in the Catholic Church, but for us in the Catholic Church, it was going to church. But when Carnival is happening, we rush in to come out
Mm-hmm.
of church to go and watch the parade. And there were two times that I jumped Carnival. I jumped it as a child, and I jumped it when
Mm-hmm.
I was in my young adult age.
Okay. And you grew up
Um,
In Kingston, Jamaica,
yes,
or
I did. Yes, Kingston, Jamaica. Kingston, Jamaica.
okay. Okay.
Kingston,
Okay.
Jamaica.
And do you
Am
want to
I was
mm-hmm.
adopted. I was adopted at
Mm-hmm.
age 4. So I live with my adopted parents. I lost my mom in May, but I live with my adopted parents
Mm,
and family. My upbringing was a little bit, I would say, troubled in a sense because knowing people are saying, this is Mr. So and so's adopted child. So we used to have like psychology books in the house, and I would do my research
mhm.
at a very young age, trying to understand what the word adoption is or adopted is. And with that, I felt like I was unwanted, unappreciated, unloved. And I just felt like I don't belong here. So for me, it was a little bit of a troubled childhood.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Okay. I imagine there's always the idea, do we let the child know that they are adopted early, or do we wait? What would be your advice given what happened to you? What would be your take on that? Do you think it would have been better not having known, or you would still prefer to have known that you were adopted?
To be very honest with you, I think it is how it was done. It was not done
Mm-hmm.
by my family, it was done by family friends. So with that, you hear somebody say, "Oh, I'm Mr. So and so adopted daughter." So it's not like you were sat down
Mm-hmm.
and said, "Alicia, we're not your biological parents. Your biological parents loved you very much, but they were not they were not able at the time to take care of you. So they thought what was best was to give you to somebody who could love you just as much as they loved you
Mm-hmm.
and cared about you and wanted the best for you." So I honestly recommend, if you do adopt a child, to as early as they
Mm-hmm.
can understand, let them know the truth of why they were adopted, but do not show them the
Mm-hmm.
indifference. If you adopt them into your family, taking them as your child, treat them like they're actually your child.
Mm, okay, okay. I understand what you're saying. It's better always to hear whatever news, big news, it's always better to hear it in a loving, nurturing space, and always better to hear it from your family and
Right,
those who love you. Wow, okay. All
right.
right. Well, you have written this amazing book. Okay. Can you please tell us a little bit about your journey? And then, of course, tell us a little bit about your book. What was the journey like for you from thought to publishing? What was that like for you? What was it like?
What a question. To be honest with you, it has taken me 10 years, over 10 years to produce
Mm-hmm.
this. Um, sorry, I can tell you that writing a book is not a walk in the park. It's not, oh, I
Mm-hmm.
can write a book within an hour and I can get it published within 2 hours. It's not that easy. Um, to be honest with you, Nicole, I have been a writer from a very young age. I'm always writing, like even when we're copying the homework from the teachers,
Mm-hmm.
persons are giving me their book to copy the the homework in their book. So for me, I I had a very wild imagination growing up. So I would always be
Mm-hmm.
thinking a lot, and once there's pen and paper, I'm writing. And I remember
Mm-hmm.
in high school, sorry, my guidance counselor asked me to write an article, and after I wrote it, she said to me that it was actually put up in the Tom Redcam library. Everybody liked what I wrote,
Wow.
and like I've been featured,
Mm-hmm.
where I've submitted pieces to the Gleaner and stuff. But concerning the book, because of my journey, throughout life,
Mm-hmm.
I thought that it would make sense to put it in a book. Because, when we
Mm-hmm.
die, we leave a legacy, or we should leave a legacy behind. So,
Mm-hmm.
coming to write this, with every thought, there were days where I said, probably it's just me want to write it. Probably God didn't tell my auntie all the way from Austria to come down here to send me it's time to write the book. I've always
Mm-hmm.
wanted to write a book. I've always wanted to be a journalist, to write how I'm feeling, because I realize
Mm-hmm.
writing is therapeutic for me. And
Mm-hmm.
when
Mm-hmm.
other persons read it, they're understanding what I'm trying to say, because not everything you can say verbally somebody will understand, but probably if you put it in
Mm-hmm.
writing, they'll get a better understanding. And after my auntie told me that the Lord said I should write the book, I got the pen and paper, started jotting down. There were times I did get frustrated, because there were persons
Mm-hmm.
who were around me who I know that they could have helped and they chose not to. Some persons who got it in their hands to edit, it took forever for them to edit. I thank God for one of my church sisters. She's not an editor, but she helped me to bring it to where it
Mm-hmm.
was in order for me to bring it to the editor and to the publisher for it to be worked
Mm-hmm.
on. But the process has been long. I remember my pastor, when I gave it to him and he corrected some stuff and he was giving me some ideas. At one point, I got frustrated and I threw the manual in the garbage. I was like, I don't think I want to do this. Who wants to hear
All
my
of that
story?
hard work. All of that. Wow. Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow. That I mean, for many writers, for many persons who have a story and they want to write it, they want to share that story, that journey, it is within. It is within. I also published my book, If Love Had a Heart. It took me 20 years. Okay? 20 years
wow.
of I don't know, talking to my friends, sending draft after draft after draft after draft. Some of them are still my friends, surprisingly. Okay, but that final push to get it published, getting to that point, it is not easy. For any writer, it is not easy. And
Not
the
at all.
moment I published, the feeling of being completely exposed. How did you feel when you published your book finally? What did that feel like? Can you walk us through those emotions? What did that feel like for you?
To be honest with you, it's I was very happy that I accomplished,
Mm,
something that I set my heart to accomplish. But when you think
mhm.
about it, you can't get back the words you put in the book. So be careful what you're
Ooh.
writing, because once it's out there,
Mhm,
you can't get it back. It
mhm,
was, it was, how would I put it? I was elated, but at the same
mhm,
time nervous, because will everybody understand? Will I not be judged, or will I be judged?
mhm,
Will this be a bestseller? Will people actually buy
mhm.
it? But because of the situation that I'm in, I want my story to be told so that many other persons will not be able to come down the road that I'm on and to walk this 16 years journey, So I mean, I feel accomplished. I feel
Mhm,
like, in spite of what has happened to me, I took
mhm,
those lemons and turned it into lemonade. And to show the world
mhm.
that in spite of a diagnosis, there is still hope, there's still life. And I feel very accomplished and complete.
All right, here is what I'm going to ask you to do now. Can you tell us a little bit
Mhm.
about that 16-year journey? How it began, where you were, who you were? Just give us as much as you feel comfortable sharing.
Sure. All right, so I stated earlier that I grew up in the Catholic Church. So even
Mhm,
though going to the Catholic Church, we're still going to carnival, we're still having fun.
mhm,
You grow up seeing people going to parties, drinking, smoking, but them going to church Saturday or Sunday. And for me, I always felt like that wasn't right. Um, I know we're supposed to be in the house of the Lord no matter what, but for me, I just think differently. So yes, I'm out there. I am, living life. But as a child, I struggled a lot, as I said, because of knowing that I was adopted. Felt
mhm.
like I just didn't belong. I wanted to know who my real family was. In the back of my mind, the front of my mind, the side of my mind, I want to either run away or I want to die. And because I just felt that way, anything that I could
Mhm.
find in the house, once it was pills in a bottle, I would take it. So sometimes it started out with one, two, three, five. It went to 10. It went to 25. Then it went to 50. And the last attempt, I went to 90 something pills within a 2 day period. If it
Wow.
wasn't overdose, it was me trying to slit my wrist, trying to hang myself. My mother, we used to raise dogs. So sometimes I'd have to help with the dog food. So to cook the dog food, you have the kerosene oil and the coal. So at one point I thought about just burning up myself. I grew up being molested. No one knew that, so there were things that was happening around me and no one knew because I never said anything because I didn't, to me, it felt like I was already accustomed to it. I'm not going to get much into it because I want you to buy the book, but I would say that I was troubled. I was troubled as a child. Many persons just thought that I was just seeking attention and I was just acting up for no reason, but they didn't know what was happening. Um, it went from self-cutting to the point I took a compass one day. I was at school and I wrote on my hand, I hate myself to the point I wish I was dead. There was another time when we were working on the house. There was a broken glass that I saw and I took it and I started to mark my face because I said clearly it's because I'm beautiful why men are always attracted to me and the only thing that they see in me is sex. And with that, it moved from even that to drinking 5 to 6 different liquors mixed up together, sometimes doing overdose with the liquor. It moved from that to smoking a 20 pack in less than half an hour. Like there were persons who were professional smokers who said, "No, Ali, you're going too hard with this thing." But for me, it was just a way of me coping, trying to get rid of the pain that I was feeling deep down inside. So like there were self-esteem issues. Like I'd always be walking and walking with my head down. Persons are talking to me and I couldn't look at them straight in the face. I'd always have my head down and you'd always hear, "Lift up your head, child. Walk with your head high." But there were just a lot of internal struggles that I was dealing with that many persons didn't know. Um, in my teenage years, I became very promiscuous. Um, After that, at age 19 was the first time I was able to actually go out. So I remember one of my sisters took me to a club, and from there, so I start breakouts because I was able to start go out on my own. Even though sometimes you'd ask, "Can I go out?" And I'd be like, "Listen, I don't think I should be acting. I'm 20, 21. I'm a big woman. I think I should be able to go out." And, the drinking got worse. It got worse to the point where I had a kidney infection, from just drinking because I was constantly drinking because I was just trying to get rid of what I was feeling. I remember I went to a doctor and I asked the doctor to put me on antidepressant because of the way I was feeling. She put me on that thing and I was like, "Look here, this thing made me feel worse than how I felt going on it." And I came off of it. Um, Drinking got out of hand even more. Overdose got out of hand. Always felt like the world would have been a better place without me. So I was always suicidal from a very young age till the story continues, right? With that, just going out, I wanted to feel loved. I just wanted to find somebody. Not saying that I didn't get love. Growing up, love was material things, right? It wasn't you're getting the words of affirmation. You're beautiful. You're loved. You're special. You're unique. No, I mean, one of the things that I've learned, you can't expect to receive something from someone who probably didn't even get it either, right? So probably my parents didn't get it from their parents, so they don't know how to show it to you, right? So I wanted to feel loved. I wanted to feel appreciated. I wanted to feel special. So I basically just started looking for love in the wrong places. So from a man look on me and him say, "Hey, Indian," or "Hey, Browning," me say, "Yeah, that one you like me." And I would get in touch, like literally just start talking to them. Even if they didn't mean me any good. Just the fact that you look for me, I would get involved with you. And it so happened that one one day I met this guy and When I met him, he told me he he was involved with him baby mother, him live with him baby mother. So I was like, look here. From my head there my knee, me tell myself, so I'm not going to be no man's second best. I deserve me as a straight up woman and the only woman, and I deserve the best. And I told him that, listen, nah, not doing this. And he's like, can't we just be friends? He said, I said, no, you men don't know what friendship means. So no, I'm not gonna do this with you. I had stopped talking to him, and then like the following year, um,
Mhm.
you know, he came by my workplace and we exchanged numbers again. And with that, um, we went out the night. We had unprotected sex. And with that, let me tell you, I felt bad because first and foremost, it's the first night I'm hooking up with you. We go unprotected. What if I get pregnant? I wasn't even thinking about the STD, STI. I'm just thinking about not getting pregnant in my parents' home. Reason being, I grew up seeing my parents married. We're going to church, so we know that sex outside of marriage is wrong. So me go come home with big belly in my parents' house. I don't even know how that would pan out. And
Mhm.
I told him how I felt. And this guy, like, the only time that I saw him is when he wanted to have sex with me. I ended the relationship with him, and this is like November, or end of October, November. There's this guy that he always liked me, but I was always in a relationship. So this time I decided to give him a try because um, I didn't want to be lonely. Many of us, people look at us and they judge us and say, you just jumping from relationship to the next. Yes, it's not everybody want to be lonely and can handle loneliness. And I think, no, I think I can admit that I don't like to be lonely. You have your moments when you want to be lonely, but you want somebody to be in the midst of you. And he told me he had a baby mother again, and he says, but they don't get a butterfly in the stomach. And I said, okay. And him says, she soon go away. So I said, all right, give it a try. Don't know what took me over, but I gave it a try. The relationship with him was a little bit different because we would go out. First guy, him not take me to no movies, no dinner, no nothing, just going to a guest house to have sex. And second guy, he would take me to his house from time to time. Would be going to clubbing and stuff. Um, I remember, I remember when was it? I think it was in November, December, because I'd always shave. I remember I started feeling a hardening down there, and I couldn't understand. I went to my sister because I have two sisters who are doctors, and she said, "Oh, it
Mhm.
could be an ingrown hair." So she gave me something to put on it. It wouldn't go away. I mean, when I tell you it's something thick and hard, I didn't even know what it was. It reached a point, Nicole, where because I was so used to rough sex, here in Jamaica we call it daggering or
Mhm.
yeah, daggering, right? And with that, I would always get a tear. And at one point, it literally felt like, I'm not exaggerating, like the inside of my vagina wall was coming on the outside. That's how hard I was. These men were having sex with me, and it was always unprotected. And their thing
How
is,
old were
they
you
will
at this time?
always pull up.
How old how old were you at this
I,
time?
I was between 23 going to 24.
Mm. Okay.
And with that, I remember the January of 2007. I
Mhm.
remember I went to Genesis, and it's funny, growing up in church, I always had a love for God, the things of God. Um, to as far as my mother gave me a little Bible story book when I was younger, and no matter how tattered it was, I always held on to it. So I was always
Mhm.
connected to God in the sense that loving the things of God. praying, reading the Bible, even though sometimes it was hard to read the Bible because sometimes reading it, like I just get so angry and upset reading it and I couldn't understand why. But I always tried to keep close to the Lord in spite of me doing things that was not pleasing, like partying, drinking, smoking, having unprotected sex, sex outside of marriage. I always tried to stick close to God, or should I say, God was sticking close to me. And
Mhm.
with that, I went
Mhm.
to Genesis. And when I went to Genesis, I'm like, God, I want to experience what these men of God are experiencing. I want when I open my mouth and I speak about you, I get the conviction. I feel, I just don't want to say you are Jehovah Jireh, but there's nothing to it. And I remember I left Genesis and I went to the I got called them guy number one, guy number two. So I went to guy number two's house, the one who was taking me out and stuff, going to clubs and stuff. And I
Mhm.
told him that guy number one, he came back, he was coming back, messing with my emotions for me to talk about things of the past so that he could get between my legs. And I remember even before that, like guy number one, he took me out to the country one day and he said, Alicia, you can't be jumping from one relationship to the next. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I moved on from you. He said, I'm just talking to you as a big brother because him find out say him sister and find out say she have AIDS and she's at war 21. When he said it, I wasn't even picking up anything he was saying. So when I told guy number two, he asked me if I was using protection with guy number one. I said no. He refuses. So he said, well, we have to start use condom. Um, I remember the last time I slept with guy number two, he said he was too tired to get the condoms. I didn't have any condoms. And he said the only thing he do is pull out. There is a famous gospel artist. We became very good friends. And he said to me, Alicia, stop playing with God. And I said, I'm not playing with God. It's just that 1 minute I want the things of God. The next minute I just want to live life. Because I grew up in church, school, home, doctor. That's it. Right. And
Mhm.
he said, Alyssa, when God touches you, trust me, it's going to feel like electricity or like a truck run over you. And I was like, why would you say something like that? He said, these two men are not for you. I ended the relationship with the both of them. And there's this guy who he liked me also. He was annoying me. And I said, maybe probably if I give him a try, he will leave me alone. I slept with him only once. I got a big tear where I had to go to the gynecologist for that to clear up. And after that, I ended it with him because he started to stalk me and it was very uncomfortable. I had to be going to like two different doctors because I was stressed out. And I ended it with him. And I said, Ali, you need to go get a test. And when I went and I did the test and the results came back, I said, yes, thank you, Jesus. But good. Little girl, you need to just stay to yourself. Um, a month after, my godfather calls me because he's into insurance. And with, I guess with the insurance policy, and I guess because of I'm now of age, I have to do a medical. And I went and did the medical. And when I went and I did the medical, the doctor asked me if there under any underlying illnesses, and I told her diabetes from a tender age, um, sinus, and I've trouble always with joint pains. She said, well, whatever it is, it could be found in the blood. So I'm thinking, God, I hope it's not cancer. While I'm there doing the
Mhm.
medical, guy number one calls me. He asked me where I'm at. I told him. He said, why are you doing it? I said, because there's a requirement for the insurance. He said, what and what it consisted of. I told him. He said, so I'll make you doing that one. I said, because it's a part of the requirement. Them said, so I'll make you have to do it. I said, because it's a part of the requirement. He said, I know I said to him, but you and I know that I'm okay because I tested last month. Came off the
Mhm.
phone, wasn't really paying any mind concerning the whole medical thing. I kept on seeing missed calls from the insurance place, and um, with that, um, when I saw the missed calls, I said, why is my godfather calling me from the office? Why not just call me cell to cell? May the next month, when hold on one second. Oh, sorry. Right. So
Mhm.
with that being said, um there was a doctor who called me, asked me if I could come in. So I told her, can I come now? She says, no, tomorrow. When I went in the next day, that's when I got the worst news that anybody wanted to hear. It was not cancer. She said that your diabetes is out of control. I already knew that. But when she said HIV, like I saw the letters floating, my eyes became cloudy and I started I was crying. She explained that, it could be a lab error, so I need to go and do back a test. I said, Doc, I don't understand. Um, she said, it's the window period. She explained what the window period is, that, at the time when I
Mhm.
was tested, there weren't enough antibodies there to prove that I was HIV positive. Let me backtrack a little bit. The day before I got the results, I called guy number one to ask him why would the insurance place call me. He said to me, what and what I did again. I told him, he said, that's what you have. I said, what? He said, that's what you have. I said, but if I have it, you have it. He said, no, nothing, we just got dead and done. And, when I went to the doctor and I got the results, it was then and there I found out that I was HIV positive. When I left there, I sent him a message. He said, good luck to you, girl. Thank God for Jesus and his saving grace. One second. Yeah, sorry about that. So with
Mm.
that, um, he came by my workplace. When he came by my workplace, I was saying, you need to go get tested. He was like, my girl, what you talking about? I said, you need to get tested because I found out today. Um, when I was in the doctor's office and I got the news and she asked me, of all the persons that I've been with, I'm thinking about from my head to my knee to the last person that I slept with, just to rule out, whosoever it could have been. Because I didn't understand anything about HIV/AIDS back then. And she explained
Mhm.
to me that I don't have to call them. They would call them just to let them know that, it has come to their attention that they may be at risk. So they need to come in and do a test. I had called guy number two to tell him of the situation. And him said the one thing him say him not got dead from, that's what he's going to die from. And he started to accuse me to say that I knew I had it. And if him find out say him have it, he's going to send somebody to kill me. Because I deliberately gave it to him, which was not the case. So I reminded him of, you remember the last time and you're like, you can't drive with a condom. Guy number three, I could not have gotten in touch with him because I had blocked him and stuff. So I had to wait until I saw him to tell him. When I told him, he said, I'm sorry that you're in this situation. Are you taking your pills? Etc. etc. Nicole, it has been a journey. It has been a 16-year journey where I lost within a month. I moved from 146 to a 114. I My CD4 was 20. My viral load was 817,191. You're looking on somebody who should be 6 foot under. So not only did I have diabetes, not only did I go from HIV to full blown AIDS, but I developed psoriasis, which affects me from the head to my foot. It has been a journey where persons who I thought who had my back, they walked out of my life. They spread that I had AIDS when I didn't even have AIDS yet. I was only HIV positive. Um, you know, persons like if I met a guy, I made it a point of duty that once you're interested in me and I'm interested in you, I will let you know my status. Not that I'm obligated to tell you, but out of respect, and I rather you reject me now than later. And I remember this particular guy that I was interested in. I told him, and when I tried calling him, he wouldn't answer. When I went to where he was, and I said, I've been calling you, I can't get you. I took his phone, and when I dialed his number, it said the AIDS girl calling. So it has been where I've suffered discrimination from persons, and especially persons who are close to me. But I realized because they're not knowledgeable, they will say anything. Even somebody who is in the medical field who said, um, if you come, we're always going to have bleach in the house. You can't eat from the same pot. Your clothes can't wash with everybody else's own, you know. So I've gone through it, like even recently with the bloggers. Like the bloggers are dragging my name through the dirt, saying how AIDS victim get exposed, and I'm like, how can I get exposed if I've written a book, my picture's on the front of it, and I'm educating persons on HIV/AIDS. So it has been a journey. I was literally at death's door 3 years ago, and to see that because of God's grace, His love, and His mercy, I am still here to tell my story.
Wow. 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 That is a lot. Okay. I mean, I expected to hear your story, but wow. You've left me
But not
speechless.
even that,
Okay? For
Nicole. Not only
Mhm.
that. I just want to add this. There were times, Nicole, because of how bad my immune system was, not only with the psoriasis, like I had ulcers back and front down there, and I would have to have on a pad so that no leakage would come out on my clothes if I sat down where, or come out wherever I was sitting down, and the thrush that was on my tongue, like literally I was a walking dead. And with that, you know, my body started to reject medication, like it was diarrhea and vomiting at the same time, and my skin is shedding, like it's like, listen. And I remember at one point my family thought that I just didn't want to take the medication anymore, because there were times I came off because I'm standing on faith, right? And faith without works is dead. And not only that, being on the ARVs doesn't mean that you are healed. It just means that I'm not able to transmit it to my partner, right? To transmit it to
Mhm.
my husband. Yes, I did say my husband, which
Mhm.
he is HIV negative. And,
Mhm.
listen, it's been a roller coaster, but I can tell you that, and this is going to shock a lot of persons, that for the 16 years that I've been diagnosed, I've never put one foot in a hospital and laid on a hospital bed because of my illness. Never. I've gone into the hospital to minister, but not because of being sick.
Mhm.
So I can tell you that God is good.
Wow, your story is quite a powerful one, and I also understand that for many persons they are going through similar situations right now and simply cannot find the voice to express the way you have expressed and told us your story. Okay, suffering in silence, suffering alone, being rejected and forgotten, and that is so
Mm.
unnecessary. So unnecessary. Everyone deserves to be loved. An HIV
Amen.
diagnosis does not mean that you turn your back on them. The AIDS girl, someone had you saved as the AIDS girl. That is very disrespectful on every level. I asked a question today. I was talking to a friend of mine and I said, at what point do we remember to treat each other like human beings? At what point?
Mm.
It's incredible how we act. And okay, all right. I'm not going to get into it because I know I'm going to go into my feelings. I know I'm going to go into my feelings and I don't want to do that. I am here to listen. All right. Since Jennifer says, I want you on my next book tour. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Definitely, definitely, definitely. Yes. Okay.
Mm.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. For
Mm.
many persons, once you get the diagnosis, you shut down. You don't talk to anyone. You don't tell anyone anything. What inspired you to share your story with the world? What inspired you to write your story? Where did you find that strength?
To be honest with you, Nicole, I've always wanted to be a peer counselor for my child. And I remember one
Mhm.
of my sisters said, Alicia, now you have the opportunity to share your story with young girls so they don't come down this road. And I was like, what you say kind of makes sense still. And I remember
Mhm.
saying, God, what the enemy meant for evil, you will turn it around for my good and for your glory. And I started out just with close friends, because I didn't want them to come down the road that I was now on. So close friends and
Mhm.
family. I didn't see it escalating to this. If somebody told me, which
Mhm.
persons told me, but I didn't believe, I would be where I am today. But because I got infected at age 24, 24 is a prime age where persons are
Mhm.
drinking, smoking, having sex, partying, living the life, right?
You live
But living it
forever at
risky,
24. You live forever. Or
right?
at
But you're
least you
living it
think.
risky.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right. So with that, I wanted to let people know that listen, HIV doesn't have a face. It don't have a particular look unless you're not taking care of yourself. And some people you look on and you think that they're HIV positive, not necessarily they are. Psoriasis will make your skin look horrible. It will make you lose weight. Diabetes will make you lose weight, right? And when I thought about it, when I found out, I thought HIV was a death sentence. Like every dream, every vision that I had to die with me. And from the little that I was getting to know, after you become HIV positive, 5 years later, you're going to die because it goes into full blown AIDS. But you see, when you don't understand a thing, but for
Mhm.
me, coming out to share with the world, to write, is my aim is I want discrimination to stop. I want the stigma to stop. If you can accept me and love me and have me in your corner, do it for other persons who are living with the virus. Some of us, it doesn't matter if we were promiscuous. It doesn't matter if you were a prostitute or if you're a whore. It doesn't give anybody the right, because the person I
Mhm.
believe who infected me, they knew exactly that they had it. And as somebody said earlier, hurting people hurt people. But after
Mhm.
the hell
Mhm.
that I've been through, me think that boy, you would have shown me like a mercy. At least give me the choice to either stay or not. But you never gave me that. So with that, I came out to let people know that listen, under everything that glitter is gold, right?
Mhm.
And we have to be careful. And as I said, this whole stigma and discrimination thing, I want that to come to an end. Because if we don't, many people are going to commit suicide. People are not going to want to take their medications, and persons already are not taking their medication because of
Or
the
getting
stigma and
tested.
discrimination. If you see Tom Brown or getting tested, because if Tom Brown knows say you, they are the clinic, him walk and tell the whole community, say say it. And like I remember a year or two ago, I was called on a case where people in the community were saying that this girl was dead, and the girl was right there. She looked worse than children who were in Africa suffering from malnutrition, and she and I were the same age, and she succumbed to her injury and she died. Listen, we are killing off people who have HIV. Is listen, words hurt. Not because you're not in the situation. Listen, for me, HIV is like diabetes, it's like cancer, it's like lupus. It is a sickness. It can happen to anybody. We didn't go
Mhm.
to the shop and say, send me a liter of HIV. It happened. Yes, sometimes we made bad choices. I made bad choices because I was looking for love in the wrong places. I should have protected me and not allow men to protect me by using a condom. I should have been more vigilant. But here it already happened, and the fact that it has happened, and God has given me the mouthpiece to speak for people who can't be strong enough to say, boy, Nicole, I want to share something with you. I'm HIV positive. So I want people to, once you can respect me, come, let's be a community so that these persons who are living with it and suffering in silence can get the proper treatment and healthcare that they need so they can go back to live a normal, healthy life by sticking to their ARVs.
Mm-hmm. 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 Wow. Wow, that is definitely a lot to digest. I can tell you that much. Because it's one thing when you don't have access to the medication, access to the information, but then to have to deal with society and how society views you. And based on that, you sit and you suffer, and you would rather die than be ridiculed
Right.
or have persons reject you. People who say they love you, family members. That is not okay. That is not okay.
Mm.
Here is my next question for you. What impact do you hope your
Good.
book will have on your readers? What impact?
Right. When I was writing this book, the audience that I was looking for is not only Christians but non-Christians, to show you
Everybody.
that,
Everybody. Mm-hmm.
yes, to
Mm-hmm.
show you that we have a Jamaican saying that the one and dead and that shit way. There is
Mm-hmm.
still hope
Mm-hmm.
in spite of what you're going through. So it doesn't have to be HIV. It doesn't have to be AIDS. It doesn't have to be cancer. It could be anything that they're going through. There is still hope. And because there is still hope, I want to encourage you through this book. Draw closer to God because He's our only source of survival, number one. Only He alone can fix it, restore it, heal it, and deliver you from whatever situation that you're going through. And also, don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your aspirations because of whatever you're going through. So I hope that my book will become a legacy that other people will gain hope. You know, those people who felt like they had to throw in the towel by just reading my book, they will gain hope. They will see how I stood in faith and believing in God that in spite of, I'm still here, and that they will be inspired to go and inspire somebody else with their own testimony.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's not a death sentence. It's not the end of who you are. It's not the end of your essence. It's not. And you're also not alone. You're not alone.
No.
Wow. Wow. All right, I'm going to move on to my next question. Oh my, I feel like every little bit I bite off, it's just so rich and so full of different levels, different stages. I want to just stay right here. I don't want to move on, but I know that I have to move on. I have other questions for you, but oh wow. All right. Um, okay. My next question. Can you share some personal
Mm-hmm.
insights on how you are working to improve your self esteem, or rather, how you worked to improve your self esteem to be able to face someone having you listed as the AIDS girl? How did you get over that and find self love?
I think there's only one word I can say: God. He has always been there.
Mm-hmm,
And because
mm-hmm,
of the love of the Father that He has bestowed on me, it is not my strength, but it is His strength that has kept me. It is
mm-hmm,
His hand on me. Because if it wasn't for God, I would have been 6 foot under. The amount of attempts I've made, I would have lost my mind. But God, that even
mm-hmm,
every hurt, every tear, I know what it feels like that when somebody is going through, it doesn't have to be HIV, AIDS, but whatever they're going through, the heart of compassion over, it just overcomes me, right? So the one word is God, not man, not medication, but God. And having the support of family around me, my church family also, having a husband, has helped me a whole lot. It's 16 years of a lot. 1 second. Sorry about that. Right. So
That's
right.
okay.
So it has been God and the persons who surround me, and because of that, um, that's what keeps me going. And
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
having a relationship with God, worshiping, praying, being in the Word of God, it helps me to become a better person and how to look at life differently and how I deal with individuals with the struggles that they are also overcoming.
Mm-hmm. 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 You mentioned family, yeah? And I have
Mm-hmm.
always said to persons that family is a verb. It's a verb. It is how you act towards persons. For a lot of us, we don't have family per se. We don't have blood family. So we create our own families. You act like my sister, you're my sister. You act like my mother, you're my
Mm-hmm.
mother. Okay? Family is a
Mm-hmm.
verb. If you are my mother, you're not acting like my mother. How then can you say that you're my mother? Family is a verb, and especially when persons need you the most. All
Mm-hmm.
right, my next question to you is, how has your personal journey influenced your approach to marriage? What lessons have you learned? What lessons can you share with us? Because for me, what I have found in my limited research, because I'm here to learn as well, is that when they're talking,
Mm-hmm.
or when our movers and shakers are talking about HIV AIDS, they completely forget
Right.
that being loved is a very important part of being human. Our romantic side is quite important, yeah, for our own personal development. So I need to know from you, how has your journey shaped, yeah, your approach to marriage?
To be honest with you, as I said, I've always been looking for love, just in the wrong
Mhm,
places. When I
mhm,
heard of other people who are living with the virus, who are married, who have kids, I said, God, I want to me. I said, God, my sin no worse than anybody else. Sin. Sin is sin. So what's up?
mhm,
But
mhm,
we all have to be worked on by God. And sometimes we go into relationship with a lot of baggages, and they have baggages also, and then everybody
mhm,
just at each other's head. But God sent me, I would say, his best, because I've never met any other man like my husband. Everything that
mhm,
we've been through, like, I'm not the same person that I was 16 years ago because of God placing this man in my life. Like, I'm a roughneck. Me's a fighter. Me, I don't take no talking from you. Like, what you just say? Like, sir, please go. I ain't doing this with you. There are times where I took off the engagement ring and I said, take this. I ain't doing this. Like, I never did well in relationships.
mhm,
You're lucky if it lasts a month. And to see that 11 years of friendship, 8 years of marriage, it is God. I've grown a lot.
mhm,
I've read a lot of books, listened to a lot of teachings. I used to talk down to my husband because I didn't understand. Look here, I don't last a relationship for a month, so I don't know nothing about relationship. But throughout the years, because of his patience and because of his love and the man of God that he is, even though I was a very hard nut to crack, he cracked this one. Right. So with that, it shows me that in spite of, this man loved me in spite of my diagnosis. Even when I was shedding skin and stuff, And I said, hon, you have to sleep on the floor. Me, I gotta sleep on the floor because I don't know if this thing is able to transmit. Trust me. Him say no. He's even when my skin was bruised, like my skin was drinking oil, coconut oil, olive oil, baby oil, in less than in half a second. My skin becomes chip dry again. And he's using his bare hands to massage the oil into me. So it proved to me that true love does exist and that we're just supposed to wait on God to send that person for us. So I've grown. I've really grown, because of this man being in my life. That even if our marriage doesn't work out, I will never be ungrateful for the love that this man had for me. He's the only man that I saw when nobody else would have been there or would have taken up the mantle or step up to the plate. And hats off to
Mhm.
him. I would never speak ill of him because he didn't have to. He chose to. And it shows me that
Mhm.
there are real men out there or real women out there
Yes, yes.
who will love you in
Mhm.
spite of what you are going
Mhm. Mhm. Love you through it,
through.
love you with it, love you. You name it. You name it. You name it. I am married to one myself, and I know those rough edges.
You know what we're
I
talking about.
I know that very heavy, harsh
Yes.
character. Okay? And when you
Right.
see them stick around, I have two children and I've never needed any outside help with anything at all. I am telling you, I am telling you, whatever I don't know, he knows it. Okay? So I know that you
Process.
do have good men. They are hard to find
Yes.
and they are usually very quiet. Very quiet.
Jennifer says, does
So
he have a brother? He does, but his brother is married. Sorry. Sorry. But yes, but
yeah, they are out there. They are out there. I am happy that
there,
you found that love and that support and that acceptance. We're
yes.
always looking for it wherever we are in our journey. We're looking for acceptance
But can
and
I
to
say
be
this,
able to
Nicole?
be. Mhm. Yes, please.
Can I
Mhm.
say this? We fail to understand that no relationship is perfect. We're going to go through the trials, the tribulations, the storm, but there is still true love out there. You're not going to get a
Mhm.
perfect man or a perfect woman. In fact, I don't want a perfect man because
Mhm.
I'll be worried. Like, when are you going to? No, mm-mm. How can I press
Mhm.
your button just
Mhm.
to see if you're going to, right? So we fail to understand that, that you won't get a perfect person. There are always going to be
Mhm.
trials and tribulations. Right,
Mhm. 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 It is
right,
needing or having, I would say rather having that base. We're in it.
right.
Whatever happens, you don't leave me. I not leave you. Whatever we're going through, we just need
Right.
to work it out. We need to work it out. Once you know you have that base, you're good from there. You're good from
Right.
there. Wow. Wow. He sounds amazing. All right. All right. So
Yes.
on to the next little bit. Can you please share a paragraph from your book that encapsulates the essence of your journey and your message? Can you share that with us, please?
You know,
Oh, this has been
you make me just
amazing,
want to read
absolutely
the
amazing.
entire book, but I will not read the entire book. But this is what stood out to me. As
Mm-hmm,
you gain strength and courage from my story, I want to assure you that you're not alone and all hope is not lost. Never give up on yourself, and that it's never too late to start living and to achieve your goals. Not because life has given you limes. Take the limes and turn them into making lemonade. Broken crayons still can color. those dreams, visions that God has placed on the inside of you, you can still come alive. But with hard work and determination and not losing hope, you can and will bounce back and come out on the winning side. And God has a way of turning your mess into a message and your test into a testimony. I strongly believe that there's a testimony in each of us. There's greatness on the inside of you, and no matter what is happening around you or with you, your past doesn't determine your future. There are persons who are waiting to hear your
Mhm.
story, and those who already know your story are gaining strength from it.
Sis Jennifer,
I
she's
could
ready.
continue.
She's ready. She's ready. She's ready. She's ready. She's ready for the tour. Okay, I am telling you, that is a magical experience. And I think that there are so many persons who need to hear what you have to say. So many persons. I am going to share the link for your book. Okay. Um,
Sure,
Let me just find it quickly. And I'm going to also share how persons can find you and get in touch with you. Here we go.
sure.
Okay. I'm going to put it in the chat. All right. This is a link to your book so that everyone can go ahead and pick up a copy, because what this if this is just the icing,
Me too.
all right? Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. All right, and here are the tags. When I post to to YouTube, I will also add these tags for anyone who is watching the video after this. Okay? I want persons to reach out to you to
Sure.
find you. Sis Jennifer, I'm gonna send you her number. I will send you her number, of course, with her permission. All right, so you
Yes,
can
that's right.
make contact. You can make contact
Mhm.
with her and get her situated as soon as possible. The next virtual book tour promises to be even more spectacular. All right, and for me, it was already
Mhm.
spectacular. All right, all right. So my next question is,
Mm.
where do you see yourself in the next 5, 10 years? Where do you see yourself? What are your goals? What are your aspirations? What are your hopes for yourself, for your ministry as well? And of course, your writing.
All right. The next 5 years. I'm currently working on two, should be three other books. So I have more books out and to have them to be bestsellers. For my ministry that God has given me, to see it being more impactful, not only here in Jamaica but international.
Mm-hmm.
To whatever God is calling me to make myself more available to Him so that He can use me. Now, the use me part, sometimes we say, Lord, use me, but we don't even realize that the use come with sickness, it come with financial difficulty, it come with marital problems. But whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is, I know that God has graced me for it. I'm hoping to do a book launch between now and the next 5 years. Not only with
Mm-hmm.
HIV, my journey through grace, but other books. And as I said, in a nutshell, do whatever God has called me to do.
Yeah.
That's where
Yeah.
I see myself between now and 5 years.
Purpose. That's it. For me, before the virtual book tour, I said no to everything. Oh my God, translate your book? No. Oh my God, would you do? No, 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 no. I was the artist. Okay. And there was
Yes,
something so profound that happened once I started to say, yes, translate your book. Okay, let's do
yes,
that. And you start
Yes.
to realize that just by saying yes, all of these other things just fall into place, making yourself available for whatever comes next. Whatever comes next.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
Imagine if your book were made into a movie. You should also think about doing an audiobook version. Yeah.
Listen, this whole my husband has been saying from he met me, Alicia, I said is going into a movie. I was like, yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, whatever.
Mhm.
And him keep on saying it. When I call him now and say, babes, Nicole said, you need to think about it being into a movie. He's like, but I've been telling you from day one. Yes. And even to get like you and I were talking before we came on, and I was like,
Mhm.
my book needs to be translated, and it has been ministered that my book is going to be translated in different languages. So I think the first one should be in Spanish. So I'm going to need your
Mhm.
help on that
Mhm.
one.
And Mandarin.
But
I
yes,
will tell you that there is a huge public in Mandarin. Sis Jennifer could probably tell you more about
wow,
that. She just had her book translated to Mandarin. Okay. That
wow,
was, I mean, wow, wow. There's, like I said, so many persons should hear your
yes,
story. And I think that it could touch so many lives. So many lives.
yes.
All right. Any final
And that's the
words?
thing,
What
Nicole.
advice? Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
No, one thing I was going to say, that's why I wrote the book, to
Mm-hmm.
give people hope. You know, we're living in a world where there's so many things that are happening, the cares of life, and we're losing hope. You know, I want my story to bring, no matter if you are at the edge about to fall off, you will not fall off, but you will continue on life's journey and allow God to have his way in you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Hope.
Mm.
Wow. All right. Any final words? Any final words to those who are watching, to someone else who might be going through a similar situation, who is finding it difficult, who is feeling alone and lonely at the same time, feeling rejected, not sure what steps to take, where to go? Any final words?
Don't give up. God has not given up on you, so I want to encourage you, don't give up on yourself. After a storm, there must be a calm. God loves you with an everlasting love, and you will get through this, but you have to open up yourself to your heavenly Father and allow him to have his way in you. And I would encourage you, if you can, get my book and read it. It will, trust me, it will inspire you. And whatever that you're going through, if I've overcome, know this, you shall overcome also. Those are my final words.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing your very moving. I have it as an unfinished account, okay, because I want to hear the next step. I want to see where you will be next year, next 2 years, next 3 years, next 4 years, next 10 years. Okay? Where will you be? What will you have already accomplished by then? How many persons, how many lives will you have touched? And I'm hoping to see that movie. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
All right. All right. We have come to the end of our program. Everyone, please join me next week. Same time, same link. I love the link. It's just one link and it works every single time. We will continue to shed light on the very, very important topic of HIV/AIDS. All right. Bring your questions, send me your questions, all right? And I will try my best to get them answered. All right. Again, bye everyone, and thank you for joining us, Minister Alicia Anderson. Oh my God, this was
Thank you guys
amazing.
for having me.
Absolutely amazing. All right. Bye bye. Bye.
Bye bye.